How I lost $173 million in Bitcoin. This one's rough. Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Talking Treasure. I'm your host, David Aaron Carpenter. Some of you may know me as this guy. What you probably don't know about me is that I am passionate about historical objects, and I travel around the world to find them. Let's embark on a treasure hunt together. All that I ask from you is that you click on the like button below and subscribe to my YouTube page so that the YouTube algorithm does its thing. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. After the 2008 financial crisis, my family got wiped out. So, with nothing to lose, in 2010, I started my first company with my siblings, called Carpenter Fine Violins. We initially brokered and traded violins, violas, cellos made by Antonio Stradivarius and similar makers. Since then, we've expanded to all collectibles, from meteorites to T-Rex fossils, fine artwork by Pablo Picasso, all the way to Egyptian antiquities. Basically, anything that is investment quality and super cool. My goal in creating these videos is to share with all of you the lessons I've learned. The good, the bad, and the very ugly. But mostly good, which is one of the reasons I'm still in the business. Finding value in history's greatest objects is probably the most fascinating and interesting way to create and retain wealth. I will give you all the tools to think for yourself and navigate the world of collectibles. Let me preface this by saying I am not a financial professional, and these videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not want to see any of you mortgaging your home or mortgaging your kids to go buy a large meteorite.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
I've been asked quite often about the most memorable deals I've ever done. By far, the coolest and riskiest deal involved trading a Stradivarius violin for Bitcoin. Antonio Stradivarius was a violin maker from Italy in the 17th century who revolutionized the musical instrument world as he pioneered the model of the modern violin. Think Leonardo da Vinci of the music world. His instruments are legendary and can fetch north of $20 million. But more on Stradivarius in future videos. Bitcoin is the undisputed king of cryptocurrency, an alternative digital currency that was invented in 2008, purportedly by Satoshi Nakamoto. At the onset, it was used to buy anything from pizza to narcotics. And with the creation of the dark web Silk Road, definitely had a questionable inception. Many people don't know how open source crypto works, but Bitcoin is limited to 21 million units and is becoming increasingly used in transactions, notably on sites like Overstock.com and most recently through PayPal's platform. My company currently accepts Bitcoin for everything that we sell. Okay, so let's try to buy Bitcoin. Easiest way for all those Robinhood accounts out there, just click over here and you just bought a Bitcoin. In 2014, one of our clients was a large holder and hodler of Bitcoin. The price then hovered around $500 per unit. They were interested in exchanging their units for a physical object that had great history and store value. In other words, a Stradivarius violin, which for the last 100 years has historically seen returns of around 6 to 8% per year, sometimes even more. We had the perfect instrument for them. We even appeared on Bloomberg TV, and an 8-page article in the New Yorker magazine was written on this historic deal. We wanted to bring our company and image into the 21st century by merging a 300-year-old violin with something as futuristic as digital currency. At the time, the approximately $5 million Stradivarius was traded for around 9,000 Bitcoin. Also at the time, governments questioned the legitimacy of Bitcoin as illicit money laundering currency. We obviously didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize our business, let alone risking the volatility of Bitcoin as it trades every day, 24/7, no breaks, no bank holidays. So we immediately traded all of our units of Bitcoin for cash, which at the time wasn't an easy thing to do since we didn't have Gemini or Binance in 2014. Soon after the trade, Bitcoin crashed to a low of $212 in January of 2015. We felt like geniuses, having exchanged Bitcoin for real money. Little did we know that 2 years later, in December of 2017, Bitcoin would hit a high note of, get this, $19,783. That means that if we held our 9,000 units until that point, the Stradivarius violin that we traded would have been We drum roll this. $178 million. The current world record price for a Stradivarius violin is around $22 million. This would have shattered that record and all the other records for the next, 40 years. So there you have it. Without the conviction of holding Bitcoin for a few years, we lost out on a $173 million upside. In hindsight, the smarter thing would have been to sell the majority of units and keep around 1,000 units of Bitcoin for the long term. That actually applies to everything, like equities. Take some of the initial investment off the table and keep the profits invested for a very long term. Because we listened to the financial naysayers, we didn't stick to our guns and lost out on massive gains. Later on, however, we reinvested the money in Bitcoin and sold out when it hit $19,000, so eventually we did make money on cryptocurrency and learned from our mistakes early on. It's one of those things to diversify a portfolio. Can Bitcoin go to $100,000 per unit in the near future? Probably, but it could also crash below $4,000 like it did in March. My favorite Stoic philosopher, Epictetus, who was Marcus Aurelius' role model, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Please subscribe to my channel below and click on that like button. I cannot wait to upload more videos for you all and continue our journey through the collectible world. Be safe.